Dealing with daily stressors seems to be the new norm, especially during the pandemic. And if you haven't had a chance, definitely catch the first part of this video series that talks about why conflict is actually good for you. And today in part 2, we're now going to go through the top 10 tips on how to resolve conflict. More importantly, you're going to be able to learn what you can do about it, 2 potential scenarios to expect, a couple of helpful hints and hacks regarding facing conflict, a new lens to view tense situations, and more importantly, some mindset shifts and hacks to be able to resolve conflict much easier. Step 1 is to figure out what's triggering you. And you really want to be honest with yourself, and I encourage you to journal this out for at least 5 minutes. And you're asking yourself questions like, what's triggering me? Why does this bother me? And what are my thoughts about the situation, and how am I feeling about it? And really don't have any censors, don't have any filters, just let it all out on paper. Then we're gonna go to step 2. But before doing that, make sure that you're in a calm, centered place. And one of the best ways to do this is to take a couple of deep breaths, even close your eyes, and try to tap into some peace. Step number 2 is reflect on what happened. And more specifically, really think about how you would have liked it to have gone, and why is that important to you? Step number 3 is to think about your own words, thoughts, and actions, and more specifically, what did you do to contribute to this particular situation? And be really honest with yourself. So what could you do, say, or think to change that outcome? This can definitely be a challenge because our normal reaction is to point the finger and say, it was that person's fault and they could have done this, or they should have said that, or they shouldn't have done that. And yes, there could be some truth to that. That's a sure formula from further frustration and is not going to help you resolve your conflict. One tip I'd encourage you to do is to take a second look through a lens of, for all the parties involved, what is the highest, best outcome for everyone, including you, in regards to that situation. Number 4, consider how you would have liked the other person to behave. Now, on this one, I recommend spending a very small amount of time here because remember, you can only control your own reaction, what you focus on, your own thoughts, what you say, what you do. All that other stuff with this other person, you have no control over at all. So very little time is spent here. The main reason to even spend any time here is because it's going to give you some ideas as to how to communicate what it is you do want from this person going forward. Number 5, confide in a trusted friend, a coach, or another supportive person that just allows you to express your feelings, vent out your frustration. It can be so therapeutic, so helpful to be acknowledged and, share what's going on. It can be sometimes half the battle. Number 6, map out how you'd like the conversation to go. Not only what you would be saying, but if you end up getting a negative reaction, how are you going to keep your cool? How are you going to handle that? If it starts to escalate emotionally, be mentally prepared to pause and just say, I need some space to get calm. I need to clear my head. Let's revisit this after dinner or after work, or ask the other party when would be a good time for us to pick up this conversation again. Number 7, mentally prepare for the conversation. Here are a few helpful thoughts to try on. This conversation will move this relationship, this project, this situation forward. This will be a huge weight off of my shoulders, an opportunity to practice open communication and my conflict resolution building muscles. I'm certain we can find a solution for the highest good of everyone involved. This is a great learning opportunity or moment. You might not have that thought at that time, but looking back, it might just be what sparked your growth to get you to the next level. Number 8, schedule a time to talk with the other person and pick a time when people aren't tired or grumpy or hangry. And number 9, take a few deep breaths. I recommend at least 3 to 5. And really set the intention of how you'd like it to go. And take a couple moments after those deep breaths, close your eyes, and really picture you and the other person and the conversation going well, how you're feeling, very peaceful, very calm, and that you will be able to handle anything that comes your way. and really set that intention before you have the actual conversation. Then do your best, see how it goes. Number 10, have the actual conversation. When you do, here are a couple of helpful hints that can make it go smoother. So in a calm, non-accusatory tone, talk about the situation and how it impacted you, how it made you feel without any blame. Instead of, you didn't help me when I really needed it. Try this. When I didn't get the help I needed, I felt disappointed and hurt that no one was taking the time to even ask me if I needed assistance. Express what your desired outcome is. Say something like, with your support, we'd be a united front and get more done and be more effective as a team. If applicable, offer minor concession or a small change you're willing to make. But here's the key. Don't expect the other person to make a change or do anything different. Just expect that they're gonna be who they are. If this is a toxic situation, you may need to evaluate the entire situation, whether it makes sense to stay in this relationship, work or otherwise, or not. You can always ask the other person if they're willing to try or work with you, but again, don't have the expectation that they're going to do anything. Do follow through on your part. One of two things is likely to happen, and by your example, the other person might just take that as a goodwill gesture and change his or her behavior, and the situation will improve. Or number two, there's no change on the part of the other individual, and that's okay. You keep stepping up to that higher level. Give yourself the peace of mind to know that you've done your best, and give yourself permission to let the rest of it go. You've done everything you can. Couple final thoughts. Learn from what went well, what went sideways, and how you can improve from there. And remember, every time you're gonna get better and better at this. It will get easier. More importantly, instead of avoiding conflict, you'll be able to dive head in, knowing this will get you closer to resolving this situation so much faster, and that'll be your incentive. I also wanted to mention, I've got a couple of freebies for you, a free guide on how to focus on your priorities, and a daily happiness formula in the link below. If this was helpful, please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.